the Pipes and Drums parks of which I'm a member, parks their trailer at Station 8, where I'm assigned. And a while back, I needed to get some stuff inside the trailer, but it was backed up against the fence, so I couldn't open the back door. So I went out into the lounge and asked, "Hey, who knows how to back up a trailer?" Well, because there was a kind of a narrow spot we wanted to put it, which made it better access for the getting into the backs of it. And everyone kind of looked around, going, "Well, hell, I don't know." And one of the guys was like, "Oh yeah, I got it, no problem." Um, okay, so what? Well, when I was first assigned, reported for duty on technical rescue as a driver, operator, engineer, chauffeur, whatever you want to call it, technician. First day there, Captain Burt Withers said, "All right, hook up the trailer, the trench trailer, and we're going to the academy to do some training." So I hopped in the truck to drive it, and we backed up, hooked up the trailer, and went out to the academy. And they said, "All right, back it in over here." Well, I am not very good at backing a trailer, and I never have been because I never owned a trailer. As a kid, family never had a trailer or anything like that I learned to back up on. But that was part of the job that was expected of me, as being a chauffeur on a rescue truck, is to be able to pull the trailer with either the trench trailer, boats, or whatever, and back it up. But it was never in any of the job requirements to back a trailer up. It's just one of those things we're expected to do. Okay, so what? What does this have to do with how we're failing our workers? Well, NFPA 1700 is the standard for structural firefighting. I can't remember the title of it, but it delineates a number of tasks that are necessary to be taken care of on the fire ground to effect effective fire suppression. And sorry, screen blacked out there. And each one of these tasks are things that the firefighters and officers are expected to know how to do. But when the cadets report to the training academy on day one, they're not expected to know how to do any of that stuff. And that's fine. You're a cadet. You're not expected to know to do any of that stuff. But there are a lot of things that they will leave the academy not knowing how to do, that it is just assumed they know how to do. And I've heard the people say, "Well, these kids coming out of the academy, they don't know which end of the hammer to grab. It's just terrible. We have to teach them how to do all this basic stuff that everybody should know, and I knew how to do as a kid." Well, I never knew how to back a trailer up because it's just nothing that I ever did. So why is this a problem for us? Well, it's a huge problem because when the kids or the workers, the cadets, get out of the academy, there's yet an additional training process that has to go on at the station. What we don't find out, let me see, I'm trying to get back to my notes here. What we don't find out when we hire these people on is, what do you know? Do you know how a small two-cycle engine works? You know how to back up a trailer? You ever changed a chain on a chainsaw? I mean, we couldn't expect anybody to know how to pump on a modern fire apparatus. That's, nobody. That's nothing that would be considered common knowledge. We can't expect him to do hydraulics and friction loss calculations. So we teach them. But what other skills that we will expect them to know how to do, they do not know, and we don't bother to find out why. I mean, I bet you everyone remembers the time when your VCR clock was blinking 12, and he said, "Well, just get your grandkid. He'll be able to fix that." Well, the younger generation, they're probably a lot better at things like dealing with computers and coding and supply chain management and that sort of stuff. Maybe not so much at changing a tire or fixing a chainsaw engine. And why is this? Why don't we spend the time to figure out what our guys and gals know and what they don't know? Well, I came up with two reasons. The first one is because we never have, and it's always seemed to work. Back in the day, even before I got on the job, the kind of tasks that people were, just expected to know how to do, the kind of blue-collar manual labor things, applied directly to the job. And everyone came in knowing how to do that. Not so much anymore. People don't grow up in places where they've got to cut the grass once a week and figure out why their lawnmower won't start. They grew up in an apartment. So if someone's never mowed the lawn before, does that make them stupid or lazy? No, they just grew up in somewhere where they never had to mow the lawn. I never had to back a trailer up. But another reason why excuse me, we're not spending the time to find these things out has to do with something that Eric Hollnagel referred to as the efficiency thoroughness trade off. And this is kind of where I was going with this whole trip. We need people out on the streets. The bigger the department, the more people you need. And my department is woefully behind the curve. So we can either get people out of the academy very quickly, which is very efficient, and get them out on the streets and bolster our numbers and help people get off duty in the morning and get holidays. Or we can spend a lot of time going through each individual task and then backing off that task to figure out what they need to know before they even begin that task. That's thorough. You can be efficient and you can be thorough, but you can't be both. So that is the second reason. I don't even think people realize that's what they're doing, or that it's what they're doing has a name. So let me see if I got any more notes. Well, not really. Anyway, that's my thought on why we may be failing our workers by not finding out what they know before we expect them to know something, and the efficiency thoroughness trade-off, which will probably be a good subject for another podcast. Sorry I went a little bit long, but I'm starting to tell stories in these things. So anyway, thanks for stopping by and watching. Please tell me your thoughts in the comments, and above all, please be safe. Thanks.